freaking first cut. Golly. Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your mega preview pod for this week's AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. It's storylines, it's our best bets, and it's other things that we do. Joining me to break it all down, Greg DuCharme is here. Hello, Greg.
Gentlemen, how's everybody doing today? I'm fired up for today's show. Fired up.
Patrick McDonald. Hello, sir.
I'm fired up too. Greg brought a little show and tell for the class that we're going to display here shortly. I'm excited to talk about the hashtag product. Seems like we're due for one of those discussions with Rory McIlroy talking at Pebble Beach today. And yeah, ready for Scotty Scheffler to get back into the winner's circle. It's been too long.
We will get to Greg's show and tell real quick. Do either of you have a Garmin GPS watch?
No.
No, that's not my speed. Not my speed at all.
Either do I, but I just read there was a complete global outage for them. So anytime you tried to like do anything on your Garmin watch, it like bricked it in the whole world.
Wow.
I was hoping you were going to say there was a global hack and now those people are being shipped off to China or something.
Is there like a satellite war going on in space?
Imagine you with your Garmin. Does that apply to golf GPSs? Because if I was on the first tee and I turned my Garmin watch on and it bricked, oh man, I'd be pretty pissed.
I know KP was a Garmin boy.
Yes.
He was shelling those out, I think at the US Open last year or something.
I think he's an actual user of them. I think he's like a power user of them.
He's probably just walking around in circles lost, bumping into a doorway like a Sims character right now.
Several Garmin users are reporting this morning their watches are stuck in a never-ending boot screen featuring a so-called triangle of death.
Oh.
Widespread across countries and devices.
Alert. That is crisis mode.
There's nothing worse.
Imagine working at Garmin right now. Things are probably not fun.
No. Oh, that hurt. That's pain.
You know what they should do?
What's that?
Just search on DeepSeek, a remedy for it, and they should have it up and running in no time.
What's the deal with DeepSeek? Because I kind of missed. It's like an AI thing.
Yeah, pretty much everyone thought that these open AI models needed NVIDIA chips and like Broadcom chips.
Okay.
And then DeepSeek came out of nowhere and was like, not really. So
is that why NVIDIA's stock has like plummeted?
Yeah, it went down like 20% yesterday. Bounced back up today, like 10.
I don't understand microchips. Can I say that?
We need more macro chips.
Yeah, I agree. We can talk about more technology. What kind of chips do you think they use at TGL, Patrick? Because they just had easily their most competitive match of the season last night. And what have been a trio of blowouts. Last night, Tiger's Jupiter Lynx and Rory's Boston Common went to overtime. They were neck and neck all night. And when you go to overtime, Patrick, in the TGL, how do they decide the winner?
So I was a little surprised by this too. I thought it would be through the simulator and they pick a par 3 and it would have been closest to the pin that way. But instead they went to the green zone, little 40-yard pitch, one-on-one, kind of like a shootout almost. You get a point if you beat your opponent and closest to the pin. First 1 to 2.
Right. So Greg, also thought, so my understanding when I heard the overtime rules a couple of weeks ago, I thought it was a par 3 on a sim. All 6 guys would hit, and then the team with the closest 2, or you'd go until your team has the 2 closest, is the way that it was kind of framed. It's not really what we saw last night. It was a 40-yard shot in the green zone, and it was one-on-one. So it was like a shootout in hockey. It was like, okay, this round is completed. Now you start a new round, which means because Jupe Links won the first two, we did not see Rory go against Tiger.
No, but I will say I like that playoff format.
So, I mean, I was enthralled. I just envisioned it differently. I don't think it's bad.
Yeah. They said on the broadcast, think penalty kicks in soccer. So I thought that was really cool. The one adjustment I'd make is they should hit it off the grass. It should go onto the grass and hit it backward, hit to from there.
Yeah.
That's one adjustment I'd make. But other than that, I thought it was, I thought the playoff was great. And this was definitely the most exciting. I actually enjoyed watching it for the first time. Although you guys may find this interesting. I have some ratings here.
They just came out.
It did 864,000, which is the third. It did not beat week 1. It did not beat week 2. It beat week 3.
What? It beat Patrick McDonald?
I am surprised by that.
Shocking. Yeah. I'm not surprised it beat week 3. I'm surprised it didn't beat week 1 or 2. Week 2 might just be a big number. But I guess the question is, what does that mean? Is that a time of day thing? 6:30 too early? Are people tired of it? Do they not give it a chance?
This is why it's impossible. I don't understand. The ratings thing, I never get it, because anytime a rating comes out where it's too high or too low, it's, well, this was the first time it was played on Monday. Well, 6:30 is, very early. Well, there was also Duke versus whatever last night. It's like, well, yeah, but there's always like a million other factors. And then you just use those. It's not like we get to have this night 1,000 times and we get to learn the data. This only happens once. We're never going to get the opportunity to run this again in the same conditions. So, I don't know. I never know how to interpret the ratings.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't mean anything. But I will say it was a big eye-opener, and I think it really pointed a spotlight on what TGL is supposed to be, and that is that it's supposed to be competitive. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I know last night was fun, but does that mean that if it's not competitive, it's not fun, not worth watching? Like, you watch the Jets play when they stink because they're your team. Are you going to watch Atlanta Drive play if they stink because it's Atlanta Drive? I doubt that. That'll at least take a long time. I don't know if they have that kind of runway. Now, you might watch Jupiter Lynx if they stink because they got Tiger Woods. But we kind of want to be moving away from leaning on Tiger for ratings. So the cool thing is, if it's competitive, it can be fun. If guys are making putts, in my opinion, it masked some of the details with the simulator that are a problem. Were still a problem last night. You heard Tom Kim say, I don't think this thing reads fades. And it was innocent, but that's what he said. And it's almost like they were looking at it like a condition of the course. But it's a problem. But if they're making putts to tie, and they're fist pump, it's still fun. So I think there's some good in it, but I don't know if it's sustainable good.
Good core of guys last night, Patrick. Obviously, Tiger and Rory. Tom Kim, who just injects fun and, a little bit of something, a little bit of juice into most things that he does. Keegan is incredibly intense. I love Keegan so much, and he wants to win everything, and I love him. And then Adam Scott, who is like the greatest thing in the world to look at, and Kevin Kisner, who makes me feel like I could be in TGL. So it's all very relatable.
I heard Keegan isn't unpacking his suitcase from last night after taking the L. He had the putt to win in regulation, and it slid by the high side. I agree with Greg regarding the technology. I mean, there were some balls that didn't spin back. There were some balls that were like gravity. Like they defied gravity.
The on-ground physics are horrible.
Yeah.
Like
And
3 woods from 290 yards, hit on a downslope and
checking.
stop.
Yeah, like they need to firm that thing up to make it a lot more fun. Instead of spinning 3 woods back 5 feet like it's a lob wedge or something. So they need to fix that. I think the whole thing is hilarious because the most entertaining part of this tech infused golf league is the actual golf being played in front of the fans. Right? Everything inside the green zone is the best part. Making putts, the bunker shots, the pitch shots. Outside of maybe a couple shots through this month of TGL on the simulator, everything else that has been the most memorable has been the actual golf, like in the arena. The chip shots and the putts and the bantering back and forth, that's all in the arena and not necessarily tech related, which I think is just funny, honestly.
It's an interesting take. Rory McIlroy was asked about his takes on golf and entertainment as a whole. He said a lot, but he would say it might be more relatable because you're watching guys that maybe have a similar ability to what the general public have. That's talking about YouTube golf, of course. And then he says, look, it's a balance. When we're growing up dreaming of professional golfers and trying to be the best out of ourselves, the last thing on our mind is being an entertainer. And I think, Greg, that is where I don't want to call it professional golf, but let's like highly viewed golf, which is both on YouTube, on cable, on TGL, whatever, is split. Are you watching for entertainment? Are you watching for competition? Is Live struggling to get viewers because it's not great competition and it's not entertaining? And YouTube golf is not great competition, but it is entertaining? And the PGA Tour is great competition, but could be more entertaining. Like we've got this, you pick one of these two things. You can't have them both.
I love what Rory said, first and foremost. I think he's spot on. Like, sports are entertaining, but the athletes are not entertainers. And that was the sense that I got last night with TGL. These guys were not trying to be entertainers. They were competing, and it was entertaining because it was good, fun competition. And we don't need these guys to be entertainers. They need to be competing, and they need to be themselves, and they need to try to play the best golf they possibly can. Now, there are other things you can do to make people watch, in my opinion. There are things that need to change. YouTube golf is a great example. YouTube golf, not always live. Often it's not. It's cut down. It's edited. You're not seeing a lot of downtime in between shots. In PGA Tour golf, there's a lot of downtime. In Live golf, there's some downtime. There's a pace issue. And if they speed that up, I really think that you're going to see a better product as far as the competition is concerned. And I really don't understand. YouTube golf and the PGA Tour are different things. One thing is people searching it out on YouTube. One thing is watching sports. Watching YouTube golf is not watching sports. That's an entirely different. That's like hanging out virtually with the guys. I imagine that's why you do it. Well, I'm going to hang out with the boys today. It's like watching us, like watching a podcast. You want to, and they're doing something fun, but you're not watching for sport. So they're totally different things. You're just, they have golf clubs in their hands in both instances. So I'm not a big fan of the PGA Tour trying to model themselves off of YouTube golf because a lot of people watch YouTube golf. I don't think that's the model. That's just me personally. I think you got to make this thing as honest and as good of a competition as you can, which they do. And you try to find ways to showcase that competition in the best way possible. Like the players should have very little to do with the broadcast, except for the fact that they are being videotaped, right? It should be like a fly on the wall. You're watching a competition. It's like going to a soccer field on a Saturday and just looking in on great soccer game that 12-year-olds are playing. That's like the concept. Hey, this is a great game. But we know that that's coming. We put that on TV because it's not a 12-year-old, right? These are the best soccer players or the best golfers in the world, and we're going to get an inside look at what they're doing, even though we're not there. Now, how do you showcase that? There's a lot of things you can do to enhance a broadcast, and I don't have the answer to that. But I don't think we need to be hanging out with the guys like you do when you watch YouTube golf. I think it's an entirely different thing.
Rick.
Sorry.
That was a good sentence you just said too. I could tell.
I just knew it. As soon as I started talking, I was thinking, am I still on mute? No, no way. I would never do that. And sure enough, I was. 864,000 viewers, peaked at 1.1 million. That was around the 8:30 Eastern mark. I believe there's only 4 or 5 weeks left because they start cramming a lot of events into the same day, and they'll play both Monday and Tuesday. So before you know it, this season is actually going to be over. We are going to turn our attention, however, to a season that's really just getting started, and that's the PGA Tours as they head to Pebble Beach for this week's Pro-Am. We are going to talk about that, give out the picks, and have a little bit of fun after a quick word from our partners.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more. It's Gareth Bale! Ronaldo! Wonderful goal! On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
It's Pebble Beach. It's a Siggy. Greg and I spent a lot of time talking about this yesterday. So, Patrick, I'm going to give you a crack at this. We've got most of the best players in the world here. Xander Schauffele is not teeing it up, but we are getting the return of Scottie Scheffler. We're getting the return of Jordan Spieth. We are getting McIlroy, Rory, that is, back in action after playing overseas for much of the fall and winter. So, should be a goodie, yes?
I love how people have been talking about the death of professional golf this past month with maybe some poor ratings at the American Express. And it's like, hey guys, we haven't seen Scottie Scheffler. We haven't seen Rory McIlroy. We haven't seen Jordan Spieth. And I know the PGA Tour season kind of unofficially used to start at Torrey Pines because that was Tiger's first event. Maybe not the case anymore. Bug flying around, bird flu. Saw a little note about that. It's real, everyone. Be safe out there. And the PGA Tour season, I guess, just unofficially starts at Pebble Beach now because you got all the best players in the world. You got one of the best golf courses in the world. So I'm looking forward to it. And I know what I did agree with Rory on during his press conference was how it seems like it's cool now just to bag on professional golf and the state of professional golf and how bad it is. All these people working in it, us included. I've certainly done it. And it's like, okay, like, let's enjoy this. I had a great time watching the Farmers final round last week. I'm going to have a great time watching Pebble Beach this week. And I'm just looking forward to it. I don't know what the question was, Rick. Maybe to preview Pebble Beach Pro-Am, I will say Scottie Scheffler will play well. That's the preview.
Sometimes I don't even ask questions. I just say sentences, and then you can just take it wherever you want. I just kind of tee it up, and then if you want to hit a home run, if you want to ground out to second, if you want to turn around and smack it at the umpire, like, I don't care. I've just placed it on the tee. It's really up to you after that.
I appreciate that because most times I'll start a sentence and I'll have no idea which direction I'm going to go until I just stop. And I'm like, hopefully that's a complete sentence.
Yeah, hopefully I've said enough words where they can now just continue on without me. Greg, Scottie Scheffler is back, and you uncovered something a little bit earlier that we need to take a look at here, and I believe Josh is going to pull it up for us. So this is the power rankings off of PGAtour.com, and these are done by Rob Bolton, who is, listen, Rob has been in the game for a long time. I like Rob a lot, but Rob is a pro. 100%. I like the whole team over there with Ben and Will. They do a great job, but we have got to hold his feet to the fire here on these rankings a little bit. So these are his power rankings from the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and it starts, safe enough. Tom Hoagie at 15, Harry Hall at 14, Nick Taylor at 13, Taylor Pendrith at 12, and Keegan Bradley at 11. I think you're probably higher on Keegan, Patrick, but okay, this isn't the worst thing I've ever seen.
Pretty ambitious as well. Thomas Dietrich inside the top 10.
Yeah, it is a signature event. Thomas Dietrich at 10. Then we start getting to the single digits here. What about 9? That's probably somebody. Mark Hubbard. Okay. Who do we have at 8? Mark Hubbard, Thomas Dietrich. What do we have in common? Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler is at 8, Greg. 8.
Am I missing something? Am I missing something?
Is there a second Scotty Scheffler on the PGA Tour?
Everyone knows it goes Dietrich, Hubbard, Scheffler.
Dietrich, Hubbard, Scheffler, and who's in 7th? Show me 7 real quick.
Should we guess?
Ludwig.
Okay.
Dietrich,
Hubbard, Scotty, Ludwig. They all are very close and similar to each other.
Greg did let it slip that Jason Day is inside the top 6 somewhere.
He's number 6. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just keep going to get an idea here before we get to Scotty.
All right. Jason Day. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Day at 6. All right. I love Jason Day this week. Cantlay is 5th. Maverick McNeely is 4th.
Wow.
First cut bump.
Okay. Now, look, I like Maverick McNeely this week. I think he's going to have a great week. Rory McIlroy is 3rd. I mean, if you put Rory in 3rd, I'd probably say, why is he not number 2? But I can live with it. Colin Morikawa, number 2. I can live with it. Justin Thomas,
Spieth, number 1.
Justin Thomas is number 1. His best friend. They're interchangeable.
They are.
All right. So I don't have a problem with the top 3 being somewhere around the top 4. Like, I'm not nitpicking this list. That isn't the point. But Jason Day shot 76 in his last round. Ludwig Oberg shot 79 in his last round. Scotty Scheffler could roll out of a jail cell and beat that by 10, like he did last year. He doesn't shoot 76. Scotty Scheffler is 8th. Now, here's what Rob says. We'll give him a little explanation. Welcome back. There's no cut this week. So the promise of 4 rounds is exactly what the 3-time PGA Tour Player of the Year needs in his return from injury. So it sounds to me like Rob is putting a lot of stock into the injury. Where would you guys put him if you were to put him in power rankings, considering he is just coming back from injury?
Scotty Scheffler is glued to the number 1 spot with injury, without injury. If we chop off one of his arms in weeks that he's not playing, just until proven otherwise, Scotty Scheffler is number 1.
Indefinitely.
I think this might be a heady editorial play too, where I feel like I'm looking at Scheffler at number 8, and I'm inclined to click on that link. I don't know what it means or what it is, but I want to click it. It's going to explain to me why he's there.
Okay, Patrick, you do this. What part of this is for the clicks? Like if I just make this list the same list as everybody else, who cares? But if I've got Scotty as 8, the guys on the first cut are going to pull it up and spend 15 minutes talking about it.
I don't think I don't know Rob personally, but I don't think he's the type of guy to send out a little clickbait. Could be wrong.
I don't know what that URL is either, but it is hyperlinked and it says the promise of 4 rounds is exactly what the 3-time PGA Tour Player of the Year needs. Why? He doesn't miss any cuts anyway.
Don't give in.
Why is 4 rounds exactly what he needs? I don't.
Here's the other thing on why I don't think this is clickbait. Power rankings, AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. That's the title. Now, if this was clickbait, where's Scotty Scheffler in the power rankings this week?
Yeah,
Good
it would
point.
say
the answer may surprise you.
Yes, or
Scotty Scheffler, not a top 5 player in the world? Question mark.
Yeah.
So I'm not a YouTube writer, title writer, or an editor, but that title doesn't, that title is very straightforward. You're going to get the people that click on that link more often than not to click on that link. There's nothing there that's trying to bait you into it. So it's not on the website as like the top story. Scotty Scheffler's return is on here. Expert picks, Tiger among the stars at TGL. You got to scroll down to get to the power rankings. And Justin Thomas is there's nothing that's like baiting me to. So I think he's overplaying the injury.
Oh,
right. I think he's putting a lot of stock in. Hey, this guy just had surgery, but I'm looking at this like Scotty Scheffler cut his hand and got stitches, and now they're healed, and now he's back. This isn't like Xander Schauffele's injury, where this is I got to rest for a little bit. He's probably going to be more fresh.
Oh, could you imagine? He's like, I'm feeling pretty relaxed. I'm feeling pretty good.
So then I got to tell you this other piece of the puzzle. Let me
go off.
Well, this is interesting, and I'm sure that this just came out, so it has nothing to do with the picks that I have in the grid, and there's no way it has anything to do with Rob's power rankings. But I saw this and thought it was pretty interesting. It's from Dan Rappaport on X. Shane Lowry snuck out to Cyprus for the first time yesterday. 9 birdies, shot 64. It's pretty nice. Said Scotty Scheffler was in the group behind him and was 6 under through 6. Well, I don't think he was struggling too much with his injury. Wasn't sure what he ended up shooting.
Maybe Rob does know.
Yeah. The other thing is, Greg, I thought you put it perfectly. This man rolled out of a jail cell and beat the field by a couple of strokes at a major championship.
Shot 66.
I don't think a little downtime is going to stop him.
It's not going to stop him. Like there is, we've talked about this, Rick. The most complete player on tour is Xander Schauffele. Yet in strokes gained total, Scotty runs laps around him. Mm-hmm. Even though he's got a hole in his game. Now that's number 1 to 2. There's a big difference because his ball striking is just that good. Like it's not better than the second guy. It's leaps and bounds better than the second guy. It's first. That's better than second, but it's in first by how much? Like this is what you brought up yesterday. If he has an 80% week through the bag, he still might win.
We love you, Rob, but we've got a bone to pick with the rankings for this week. Maybe, yeah. Listen, it's also a little dangerous to talk about this on a Tuesday when Mav wins, Scotty finishes T12. Rob's going to look like he can predict the future.
But is power rankings the same thing as predictions?
I don't know.
It's a good point. It's a good point, Greg. I don't think so.
I mean, that would be expert picks. Where you put Maverick McNeely in your expert picks and say wild prediction. Scotty's going to finish outside the top 20.
If I said, Greg, right, I need the power rankings top 15. What would your criteria, like, how would you assign the numbers if I asked you for power rankings?
Well,
it's your top 5 right now.
No, I'm not even saying names. I'm saying what do you, is it like guys who are playing the best in the last month? Like, yes. How would you do it?
Yeah, it would be, relatively short-term form, except for the guys that are just coming back. Right, guys that we haven't seen a whole lot of, I wouldn't be going extremely recent. Like I wouldn't use the last 3 starts for Scotty Scheffler. For Scotty Scheffler, since we haven't seen him since the Hero, it would be a wide range to get an idea of what we can expect from Scotty. For Ludwig Oberg, I would probably give him a little cushion from last week, but I would look more recently. He's played more. Hideki, I would look more recently. He's played more. What's that recent form been like? Is he hot? Is he not? With Scheffler and Spieth, for instance, you can't with Scheffler and Spieth, you can't look at their recent form because it's you need long-term gauge, and Spieth wouldn't be on there. Too many questions. But you're right. What's the recent form? What's the course history? And what's the likelihood that somebody's going to play well? It's not a prediction. Prediction, you can just have a feeling. There would be no feelings in the power rankings. It would be on some sort of data formulation. Now, I might type in a model on your website, Rick, and assess things in a certain way. You know, strokes gained total last 36 rounds, strokes gained total last 3 starts at Pebble Beach. Filter that. What do we get? It's a very data driven.
I think you should absolutely use rickrungood.com to make your power rankings and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I 100% agreed with Greg. That's exactly what you should do. But no, I get it. And listen, we're going to use those rankings. We're going to talk about these players and we are going to give out the bets, but we are going to do it after a quick word from our partners. We're back, and Patrick, did you have a TGL bet left for last night? No.
Josh told me the people were clamoring for it on the Monday night show. I would have had an unofficial one, which
let me guess. They go to over. Jupiter Licks wins in overtime. So
no, it was going to be Rory McIlroy even money over Tiger Woods on hole number 10,
and Rory won.
He did, but it unofficial, still only 4.
Does not count. Does not count. 4-0. Well, that's better because I was thinking, my brain was thinking that you took Boston Common, but yeah, with it being moved up a day, we never got that opportunity. So still clean, still perfect. Mm-hmm. This is the best bets portion of the show. And this is where we pick a matchup, a finishing position, 2 separate outrights, and then a bonus bet. We will start with the matchups that are going to pop up on the grid right now. Yes, there they are. I see a couple of, interesting. We've got one matchup. We've got one 3-ball, and then that looks like a 5-some. Is that a group you have there, Greg?
Group. Yes, that is Group C. Yes.
And what is it?
Oh, it's my turn.
Sure.
All right. So I looked at the power rankings, saw Jason Day way up there. I'm teasing. I'm gonna let it go now. I love Jason Day this week, like I said. So I got Jason Day plus 240 over Zalatoris, Hovland, Clark, and Spieth.
Ooh, interesting. Is that a lot of love for Day, or is it like questions over Hovland and maybe Wyndham Clark and even Jordan Spieth to an extent? I guess all of them to an extent.
Yes. There it is. Just a lot of question marks about all these guys, and only one question mark for Jason Day. Can he putt? And even if he doesn't putt, can he still outperform these guys? I think there's a real legitimate chance he can. Wyndham Clark makes you nervous because he could go shoot 60. Not just because he did it here last year, but he goes crazy some days. Jordan Spieth plays great here. Hovland and Zalatoris are extremely talented, but I have a lot of questions about their game right now. And I would take Jason Day over any of these guys individually in a one-on-one. So why not put them all together? Some might call it a parlay.
Some might call it a group.
Which it actually officially is. And so Jason Day plus 240.
Okay. Jason Day plus 240 over Will Zalatoris, Victor Hovland, Wyndham Clark, and Jordan Spieth. That is Group C on DraftKings?
FanDuel.
FanDuel. Thank you. I went with a 3-ball here. Russell Henley plus 180 over Connors and Hovland. I share the same concerns over Victor Hovland, and Russell Henley, as Patrick has told me 1 million times, is a top 10 player in the world. But realistically, he finds a lot of fairways. He hits his wedges very well, and he is a good putter. So I'm going to take Russell Henley at plus 180. And Patrick, you too are going to pick on Corey Connors, but you have some Canadian on Canadian battle here. Yeah, that's crime.
Yeah, Trudeau ain't going to like this one. Crime rates are skyrocketing in Canada following this week. Just just read the papers. I'm going Pendrith, even money over Corey Connors. Pendrith, another guy in those power rankings, like Greg mentioned. Played great at the Farmers Insurance Open, finished inside the top 10. He's finished inside the top 10 at this course too. I know we don't think of Pebble as a place where long hitters will necessarily thrive, but I think it's a really nice course fit for Pendrith. And Corey Connors, I just used him for one and done at the Sony Open, and he burned me. So a little bad blood there. So we're going to pick on him at even money with Pendrith.
A little bad blood for Corey Connors. So we are both hoping for a little bit of Connors to struggle this week. Finishing positions. Let's see. Let's go with our longest odds, which is Greg, right back to you.
I have a Tom Hoge for a top 20 at plus 210. I really like this one here. Hoge also was in the power rankings. And like we talked about this a little bit last night, Rick, he has just a phenomenal wedge game. He's really strong in the area that you need strength, which is his iron play, specifically wedge play. Even it's really all of his irons are incredibly well. And in many weeks, I think he underperforms considering the strength of his iron play. But I think the real benefit here at Pebble is not only does he like the golf course, and he's proven that with a win here, but the driving disadvantage that he often has is mitigated a little bit. So it puts a spotlight on his strength. He's putting well, gain strokes putting in the last 3. I like Tom Hoge, top 20, plus 210.
No top 15.
Greg, I'm not going to mention the power rankings again. Next sentence. So Tom Hoge was in the power rankings. Very good. Robert McIntyre, Patrick.
Yeah, Bobby Mack. No, a little disrespectful, I feel like. The guy won twice in 2024. I'm certainly not a big Bobby McIntyre guy, but I figure he's on the West Coast. He's away from all the drones in New Jersey. He's going to be nice and comfortable there at Pebble Beach, even if it turns a little ugly, gets a little windy. So it is his tournament debut, but played well in Dubai. He's kind of had a crazy start to his year. Was in Hawaii the first 2 weeks, then flew to Dubai. Hopefully he's on the right clock, internal, external, whatever. We'll let Greg decide on that one. And I think top 20 in an 80-man field is doable at 2-1.
I forgot about the drones. That's
so. Was that in Canada?
Yeah.
I can hear them. I remember.
You want to do this if I was American, eh?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
It took me a second to get the drone reference. It's like, did I miss a TMZ article or something?
Oh, speaking of an 80-man field, I went as far down the finishing positions as I could. Top 40 and found Lucas Glover minus 105. Just a smidge of juice that I'm going to have to pay on this one. But Greg and I talked about this on Monday. Finds the fairway. Great ball striker. I think that he could, if he gets hot, easily finish inside the top 10 or 8 or something like that. But I'm not asking anything near that. I'm just asking for a top 40 out of Lucas Glover. Outrights. 2 separate outrights. Let's do it this way. We'll snake back. I have Fleetwood and Lowry 30-1 or 33, depending on where you're looking. And Shane Lowry at 60. I'm glad to hear that Shane was getting hot off property. He's been playing a lot better golf. And then Tommy Fleetwood also just has played a lot of stellar golf on the DP World Tour. Patrick, it is not lost on me that you have selected not only 2 players who played last night in TGL, but both are frogs.
Big bounce back week for the Boston Commons boys. I don't want to lose sight of Greg saying he missed a TMZ article of Bobby McIntyre and the drones. What would have to happen in Bobby McIntyre's life for a TMZ article to be written about him?
He would have to be dating a like international celebrity.
Hopefully
Sabrina Carpenter.
I hope I live long enough to see that day. But yeah, I'm going with a few Boston Common boys, not Rory. So we're Keegan Bradley, 55-1. I will bet on Keegan Bradley every single week until he wins. He's playing great golf. Selfishly, I want to muddy these Ryder Cup waters. and a signature event win could put him on the team for all we know. And then Adam Scott, 80-1, just pure disrespect. He personifies class. He's hitting it great right now, and he's turned into a great putter. I mean, did you guys see that 32-footer he hit last night late in that TGL match? He's going to carry that Momo to Pebble Beach, and he's going to win this thing.
I did a quick search, and just to confirm, there are no TMZ articles of Robert McIntyre. Just
yet.
Still time. He's young. Greg, you have not strayed far from the top of the board. What would you like to go with this week?
No, I've stayed very close to the top of the board, and for the most part, close to the top of the power rankings.
Oh boy.
I just number one in the power rankings, Justin Thomas. Like I said, I'm not nitpicking those rankings. I love Justin Thomas. I love Justin Thomas's game. He's been really hot with his irons, coming off second at the American Express. Third in this field from 100 to 125. Tom Hoagie on my list is second. Who's first from 100 to 125 yards is number 8 in the power rankings, Scotty Scheffler, who's the favorite this week. And it feels wrong to me. Like Patrick said, I'll bet Keegan every week until he wins. I will bet Scotty every week indefinitely. I don't want to give up a spot. I think he's going to go out there and win the tournament. I cannot believe I'm saying that. I just don't see this being a setback for him. And I don't see anybody else competing with him. As crazy as that sounds. So I got Scotty Scheffler at plus 525 and Justin Thomas at plus 1,400.
I was hoping that we'd have tee times by now, and I wanted to see who was playing with who, but we don't appear to have those just yet. That is Fleetwood, Lowry, Keegan, Adam Scott, Scotty Scheffler, and Justin Thomas. Those are 6 golfers that range from 5.25 to 1 all the way to 80 to 1. So take what works. Yeah, take what works for you and click the name. I think we might have a winner here. I think we have a winner this week.
I agree.
We do.
All right.
We do.
We're going to try to add some more here. So we've got our bonus bets, $50 on anything. I've continued my streak of not only losing these, but also picking on Victor Hovland. I'm going with Ludwig to be the top Nordic player at minus 110. The only guys he has to beat, a Højgaard, that's Rasmus, and a Hovland, that would be Victor. So I'm hoping that Ludwig is feeling good, feeling strong, has had an opportunity to get well rested and plenty of fluids and all that fun stuff, and he is ready to rock and roll for Pebble Beach this week. Greg, what did you find?
I need to get on the board here. It's been a cold start, but we're going to get on the board with Shane Lowry. Rick, I know you liked him. He missed the cut last week at the Farmers, but he played really well. And he didn't miss by very much. So I think Shane Lowry, with the way that he's been hitting the ball lately, and apparently at Cyprus today as well, been hitting the ball great. I like him for a top 20 at plus 190.
Patrick, how are you in the red? Weren't you was that last year you were smashing these?
Yeah, I'm 0 for like you guys. It was a chilly January for the first.
We are 1-13.
And it's March.
Yeah, that's going to change. 4-13 after this week.
The good news is we can't get any worse. The good news is there is a lot of golf left to be played, but boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, yeah, so we did reset these numbers. So Patrick killed it in the fall. We've reset them in 2025. So this is our 5th, I believe it's our 5th week doing this. Patrick, what'd you get?
Yeah, it's what have you done for me lately type of business. So I had to reset them. I'm going with Scotty Scheffler to win the golf tournament at 5.25 to 1. As Greg said, he's going to win this golf tournament, and I totally agree based on Greg's power rankings. And I don't think he'd be showing up if he didn't think he could win this golf tournament, right? Everyone knows how competitive he is. My one question mark is honestly, what is he going to look like on the greens? We haven't seen this new and improved Scotty Scheffler putting with the claw grip, with the spider on bumpy Poana. It was all elsewhere. So interested to see how that looks. This was around the time where he got really, really frustrated on the greens. And if he putts well, he'll win.
Well, if I had to power rank you two, you'd both end up in the top 2. That's how good I feel about.
Okay, but which way? Who's one? Who's two?
You have
Let's do
to
this right now.
You have to click and read the article. It's behind a paywall. That about does it for everything that I had to do for AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Anything else you gentlemen would like to cover before we put a bow on this episode?
Let's do a rapid fire.
Okay.
Yes or no, Jordan Spieth will win in 2025?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes or no, Jason Day will win in 2025?
No.
Yes.
Yes or no, Corey Connors will win in 2025?
Absolutely not.
No.
Yes or no, Ludwig Oberg will win a major in 2025?
No.
No.
Over under 1.5 wins for Rory McIlroy?
Over.
Over.
Okay. Over under 4.5 wins for Scotty Scheffler?
Over.
Wow.
I
Okay.
think that over under should be 8.
Oh my God,
Okay.
Greg.
Okay.
Over under. What would you take?
Over 8? Under.
I'd probably take the under as well. But
Over under.
I don't like it.
1.5 top 10s in majors for Justin Thomas?
Over under 1.5 top 10s in majors. I'll take the over.
Top 10s. We got Quayle, Oakmont. Yeah, I don't like that. Port Rush. I'll take the under.
Okay. Who else?
But I think there's good contention in one of them.
Okay. Over. Does Shane Lowry win this year individually?
Probably not.
I'm gonna say yes.
They're hard to win.
What is he going to win? How often is he going to play without Scotty? That's
correct.
Tournament.
He's like the best event that he tees it up, and he's going to be like the 12th best player.
Okay, here's one from Alex Tonin. Over under half of a Live Golf major winner.
Under.
Not to make that like
probably under, because
on
it's really just
I don't know how
they're probably going to have as few guys as they've ever had. So it's probably just Brooks, Bryson, Cam Smith,
Rahm.
Oh, I forgot about Rahm.
Terrell. Joaquin the Dream.
Maybe over. I'll stick on the under, but I feel less good about it.
PGA is going to invite the top 5 on their money list.
Really? Is that official?
That was uttered to me by an official at the PGA show.
So official.
Okay, here's one from Richard Hunt. I didn't know if that was a dirty name or not. Richard is your brother's name, Mike.
Or call Richard by his nickname.
Dick Hunt. Over under Tiger plays in 3.5 events.
Under.
Over.
Oh,
Genesis.
Art
Masters.
I'm still iffy about the Genesis.
Open.
No Oakmont.
That's it.
I think he's playing the PGA, and I think he's playing Oakmont.
Okay, so I could still
Oakmont.
So I could still get there if he only plays. See, that I would definitely lose that bet if he plays Torrey.
If he plays before the Masters, you lose.
Yeah,
that's why it's a good number.
Yeah, it's a good number.
Because you're probably right on 3 of them. He probably plays 3 majors.
Yeah.
Anything else, Patrick?
I have Super Bowl winners: Eagles, Chiefs. Early in the week, can always go
Chiefs.
back.
We're gonna hit this again next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask the exact same question.
Yeah, Chiefs.
I hate to say it, but like
Spagnola's gonna bottle up Saquon. Somehow.
I'm gonna go Eagles this week, probably Chiefs next week, and then Eagles the following week.
Like you just don't beat Patrick Mahomes. You don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, what else? Adam Scott, will he win this year?
No.
Oh, here's a question. Hideki Matsuyama finishes his career with more than one major championship.
Yes.
He's 32. Yes. He's 32.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Who finishes their career with more majors, Sung J M or Tom Kim?
Tie.
0-0. So I have this teed up in my newsletter that's going out next week. Tomorrow, excuse me. The Sung J Im's win rate is egregiously bad.
How about Trevor calling it out, man? Did you listen to the broadcast?
I think he said he needs to win. He said he needs to win more often, right?
Yeah, I didn't know it was his 7th year on the PGA Tour.
His like top 10 rate is basically Wyndham Clark, better than Max Homa, like that, and his win rate is like Ches Reavie.
Oh, Ches. What a legend. Okay, we've got
Great
a couple
career.
more in the chat.
Did he podium? Did Ches Reavie podium at Pebble Beach in 2019?
What a pool, Greg.
At the US Open?
You're right.
Over under third. I think it was just outside. Definitely top 10.
I think you're
T3.
right. Yeah.
T3.
Count it.
It was a crowded podium. 4 guys tied for third. And they're all timers here. John Rahm, Xander Schauffele,
Rory.
Justin Rose, Ches Reavie.
Yep.
Okay, so not Rory. All right, a couple more from the chat. From Rue Bright. Over under 1.5 wins this season for Colin Morikawa.
Big over.
Yeah, I got to think that's over as well.
You might have that
the
done
same question. How many times does he play when Scotty doesn't?
Colin will have this done by April.
I'm going to go under. Who wins next, Tony Finau or Ricky Fowler?
Anywhere
Anywhere
in the world?
Outside the QBE shootout.
Anywhere in the world?
And TGL.
Outside of TGL.
Finau might win a live tournament at some point.
Oh, Rick. Bow, 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 bow.
I will say Finau, but I don't think it's going to be a live turn.
I think either way it is still Finau.
Okay, fair enough. I believe that'll wrap up this segment called Would You Rather? Presented by CBS Sports.
We'll call it
This or That.
More or less.
Patrick's tricks or treats.
Oh. Not a big fan of Halloween, though. You guys know that.
Yeah, I hate Halloween too. All right. Well, we are going to be back Friday. That'll be your midway point. There will be no cut. That's when we'll say, oh, Scotty Scheffler's 2 off the lead. If he just putts well over the weekend, he's going to win. And then he wins. And then we'll be back on Sunday to confirm that and cash in our 5-to-1 wagers there for Scotty. So just make sure you tune in, download the episodes wherever you get them, all that fun stuff. For now, big thanks to producer Josh, who does all the hard work behind the scenes. Greg DuCharme is available at The Real GFD. That is Patrick McDonald, and you can find him at P. McDonald CBS. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.